When it comes to Star Wars, the Black Series, not all figures are slam dunks. In fact, some of them are outright disasters. In this video, we're going to go over some of the worst Star Wars The Black Series figure sculpts. From older sculpts to newer modern ones, we're going to get into the nitty gritty and figure out what happened and why did Hasbro create such a disaster with some of these figures. Before we get into it, don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you're new to the channel, as well as drop your thoughts in the form of a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Alright, let's get into some of the worst Hasbro Black Series disasters. Starting off the disaster list, we have the brand new Farm Boy Luke Skywalker. Now, this figure, from the feet to the neck, is an exceptional sculpt actually. I really like the articulation, the pinless knees, and the overall tunic and the accessories that he has on his belt look really great. That's not the problem here. But the problem is the head sculpt. Who is that? That's not Luke Skywalker. What's going on here, Hasbro? First off, it looks like he just witnessed a Twi'lek slapping a Bantha in the face. Look at that 1,000-yard stare. Secondly, the hair overlay seems to throw off the head sculpt. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I think it lays too flat, and it's not as luscious as Luke's was in A New Hope. And lastly, about the head sculpt, I think it's the mouth. In different pictures I've seen, it looks like the mouth is slightly open, and here in this picture it looks like the mouth is actually closed. So I don't know if Hasbro did any photoshopping or anything like that, because the figure that I saw in person at a Target really did have more of an open mouth, and it kind of made him look like he was shocked. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Maybe Hasbro updated their photos. Hasbro is a little sneaky sometimes. Again, they do Photoshop out pins and legs, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did a little touch up to kind of fix his demeanor, because he did have that really kind of uncanny valley look where his eyes seemed like he just saw something crazy happen. So that's the Luke Skywalker head sculpt that we have. And if you go and compare it to something like the Princess Leia head sculpt, it's just miles different. This one truly looks like Carrie Fisher and has a 100% representation to Princess Leia Organa. So night and day differences here between Leia and Luke. So hopefully we'll get another Luke for the 2027 50th anniversary of A New Hope. That would be amazing, but I'm not going to hold my breath. Next up we have is Shin Hati. Not only is this head sculpt just completely off, but the body proportions are off as well. This figure stands too tall. In fact, it is the same height as the Baylan Skoll figure, making the Baylan Skoll figure seem shorter than it should. If Shin was shorter, the proportions would be more accurate to the Ahsoka show, where Ray Stevenson, rest in peace, is much taller than Ivana Sakhanov, the actor of Shin Hati. So you can do, a leg swap if you get the right figures, but you're having to go out of your way to create a brand new figure that already should have been fixed properly in the first place. Yeah, this figure is definitely a disaster in my opinion. The head sculpt looks nothing like Shin Hati. The body looks pretty good, and it does have some decent weathering. I am a big fan of the hard plastic goods here instead of the soft goods. Hasbro actually released this figure twice, once without a cloak and then once with a cloak, and they called it Shin Hati Mercenary, and they did the same thing with Baylan Skoll. They called it Baylan Skoll Mercenary. So yeah, ultimately not a fan of what Hasbro's doing here. Proportions are all off. They're releasing the figure twice, not improving it whatsoever. So that's just kind of grinding my gears. I did have this figure, but I ended up getting rid of it. It was one of the first Black Series figures that I bought, so before I knew any of the cons about this figure here. So yeah, definitely a Black Series disaster, and a good follow-up to the Luke Skywalker figure, and it only gets worse from here. So let's continue down the line. Next up we have a figure that everyone thinks should be good, but it's just not. It's the General Grievous figure from Revenge of the Sith. Now, this figure has a lot of issues with it. Not only is it disproportionate to the realistic size of General Grievous, he's a large, tall guy. He towers over everyone, and this sculpt here is just a little bit taller than some of the standard Black Series figures. So ultimately, it just really looks strange when you have a tiny Grievous next to someone, you know, standard size, like pretty much any figure. So secondly, about this figure, a disaster is the fact that it doesn't stand up very well. It falls over, it topples over all the time, knocking over other figures and snapping lightsaber pegs into hilts and stuff like that. So all in all, this figure really needs an update. We could really benefit from a 2.0 Grievous with a fully new sculpt, all brand new articulation, and paint and weathering applications and all that stuff. I'm still a new collector when it comes to Black Series, so this was not a pickup for me, but I was lucky enough to do some research and hear from some friends that this was a terrible Grievous. So I ended up pre-ordering the SHF Grievous, very excited to get in hand and check out, and I'll probably do a review on the channel for that, so stay tuned. So Grievous should be good, but it's not, and that hurts even more. So this General Grievous is definitely a disaster when it comes to Hasbro Black Series figures. And last but not least, we have our last figure. We have Rey from The Force Awakens. Now this was one of the figures that came out in the red box line, and just look at that head sculpt. I mean, yikes. Wow.
No, God, please, no!
It just looks like some random woman. Honestly, it doesn't even look like Rey. It's quite shocking how bad it is, actually. Ultimately, it's just got horrible paint application. The likeness is not there at all. BB-8, funnily enough, if we go down here, BB-8 looks pretty good for the most part. But yeah, ultimately, this Rey figure is just a travesty. It's just terrible. It's a total disaster, and we really need and can benefit from a brand new sculpt for this Rey. With that being said, those are some of the Black Series disasters that I thought would be fun to talk about. Luke Skywalker, the new Farm Boy Luke, Shin Hati from Ahsoka, General Grievous from Revenge of the Sith, and Rey from The Force Awakens. Ultimately, those are the Black Series disasters that I thought would be fun to bring up and talk about. I'm sure there's more, so I'll do a part 2 eventually. With that being said, Hasbro, please give us a new General Grievous. We desperately need it. We desperately need a Force Awakens Rey redo, especially for the 10-year anniversary. That's kind of messed up that it wasn't done already. A new Shin Hati would be nice, especially for Ahsoka Season 2. Let's get that photoreal face application much nicer and the proportions better. And then finally, I know we're not going to get it, but if we could get a tweak to the Luke Skywalker head, I think it would make the figure 10 times better. Don't forget to like the video if you made it this far. Drop your thoughts in the form of a comment below, as I'd love to hear from you. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on more Star Wars Collective content in the future. My name is Jacob, aka Star Wars Collective. I'll see you in the next video, and may the Force be with you.